So moving towards next question, that is question number 71. But here comes a bracket. Assertion and reasoning questions are there. So they have given a bracket of question number 71 to 75. Directions were given. You have practiced these questions earlier. The directions were given. Read the statements and select the correct answer from the options given below. Statement 1 is true, second is false. Statement 1 is false, second is true. Both statements are true and statement 2 provides explanation to statement 1. Both statements are true and statement 2 does not provide explanation to statement 1. So we have to work out one of the answers from these 4 options. Coming towards question number 71. Question number 71 says, the first statement is, during the civil disobedience movement, no rent campaign were carried out in most places. You remember from where this question is emerging? This question is emerging from the poor peasants group. In the civil disobedience movement, we have talked about 5 groups which have earlier participated in the civil disobedience movement, but later on when civil disobedience movement was relaunched after the second round table conference, these groups have not shown that much participation or that much enthusiasm. The first one was the rich peasants, the Jats of Uttar Pradesh and Patidars of Gujarat, and the second group was the poor peasants. So this particular question has been taken from the paragraph of that particular group, that is poor peasants. So let us go again for the statement. During the civil disobedience movement, no rent campaign were carried out in most places. The statement is true. This statement is true. No rent campaign were started in many of the places, and it was started by the poor peasants itself. The second statement says, the relationship between the poor peasants and the Congress remained uncertain. That is also true. The Congress was not willing to support the poor peasants because relationship was not certain, remained uncertain. So this is also true. So going by the statements, statement 1 and statement 2 both are true. But is the statement 2 a correct explanation of statement 1? I don't think so. Because why the relations remained uncertain? Because Congress was not willing to make the rich peasants unhappy. The poor peasants has to pay the rents to the rich peasants, and rich peasants will pay the rents to the Britishers. But if the poor peasants are going for the no rent campaign, obviously it is going to make the rich peasants angry, and Congress was not willing to make their relations bitter by supporting the poor peasants. They don't want their relations to be bitter with the rich peasants. So I think statement 1 and 2 both are correct, but statement 2 is not the correct explanation of statement 1, and that is option number 4. Both statements are true, and statement 2 doesn't provide explanation to statement 1. So question number 71, the correct answer is 4th statement. If we move towards the next one, let me erase this. Okay. Moving towards the next question, question number 72. If we come towards question number 72, the statement number 1 says, Mahatma Gandhi successfully organized the Satyagraha movement of 1916 and 17 in favor of peasant. I think this statement is correct. 1916 he started the Champaran, and 1917 he was there in the Kheda. Both were in the support of peasants itself. Statement 2 says, in Champaran, Gandhiji inspired the middle class to struggle against the oppressive plantation system, and in Kheda district of Gujarat, he supported their demand for relaxation in revenue collection affected by crop failure. So where is the problem? The problem is here. The statement says, in Champaran, Gandhiji inspired the middle class. No, it was not the middle class. He was in support of the peasants, and peasants are not the part of the middle class. So obviously statement 2 is not correct. Statement 2 becomes false. Statement 1 is correct and statement 2 is false. Now let us see the options. The option says statement 1 is true and statement 2 is false. So for question number 72, the answer should be first option, statement 1 is true and statement 2 is false. Question number 72, answer should be first, right? If we move towards the next one, question number 73. Khadar soils are poor in organic matter, yet these soils are very fertile. It means now the geography questions has started. The history questions are near about getting over and geography questions has started. I think this one is from the soils, and soils were the part of the first chapter of geography, resource and development. So this statement says Khadar soils are poor in organic matter, yet these soils are very fertile. Correct. That is a true statement. I don't think there is any problem in this one. Statement 2 says Khadar soils are fertile because they fall in the floodplain zone of the river. Even this statement is true. Now this first statement says it is poor in organic matter, yet these soils are fertile. If they are poor in the organic matter, how they have become fertile? They have become fertile because of the alluvium deposited by the rivers. So statement 1 and 2 both are correct, and statement 2 is the correct explanation of statement 1. Let us see the options. Both statements are true, and statement 2 does not provide explanation to statement 1. This one will not be applicable. So the option number 3, both statements are true and statement 2 provides explanation to statement 1. I think this one is the correct answer. Third option. So for question number 73, the correct answer will be third option, that is both statements are true and statement 2 provides explanation to statement 1. Question number 73, the answer will be third option. If we move towards the next one, question number 74, again a statement based question. Indian citizens have the right to freedom. Right to freedom, if they are talking about, it means democratic rights. The last chapter of civics, class 9th. Statement 1 says Indian citizens have the right to freedom. No problem, it is a true statement. Statement 2 says Indian citizens have the freedom to criticize the core values of the constitution. Even that is true. The core value, that is the preamble and the main part of the constitution, we have the right to criticize it. If we can prove it that the part has been given wrong or somebody is not following that particular thing, we can criticize it. So Indian citizens have the freedom to criticize the core values of the constitution. Even this one is true. So both the statements are true, but this does not explain the first one, because under the right to freedom, many options are there. Under the right to freedom, many freedom parts have been given. This one can be a part, but it is not the clear explanation. So if we come towards the options, both statements are true, but the statement 2 is not the explanation of statement 1. So fourth option, both statements are true and statement 2 does not provide explanation to statement 1. So if we go towards question number 74, the correct answer should be fourth option, right? Question number 74, correct answer should be fourth option. Coming towards question number 75, statement 1 says some form of social grouping has to be expressed in politics through gender division. So which chapter it can be? I think gender word comes, so it is related to chapter number 4 in civics, class 10th, gender, religion and caste. Again going by the statement, some form of social grouping has to be expressed in politics through gender division, and the statement is true. I don't think there is any problem related with this statement. Statement 2 says the Panchayati Raj Act was enacted to have a fair proportion of women in the local bodies. Yes, in the chapter number 2 of class 10 civics, federalism, if we go by the Constitutional Amendment Act of 1992, 1/3 of the seats have been reserved for the women in the local government body. So statement 2 is also correct. The Panchayati Raj was enacted to have a free proportion of women in the local bodies. So it is also true. And statement 2 is the correct explanation of statement 1. Statement 2 is the correct explanation of statement 1. So if we look for the options, the third option says both statements are true and statement 2 provides explanation to statement 1. So as far as question number 75 is concerned, the correct answer should be option 3. Question number 75, the correct answer should be option 3. Now moving towards question number 76. In India, there are landlocked states as well as states with long coastlines. Landlocked, which are surrounded on all sides by the land. They are not on the coastal area. So, in India, there are landlocked states as well as states with long coastlines. Madhavan is planning to travel from Srinagar to Kanyakumari. Srinagar, that comes under the Union Territory of Jammu and Kashmir, and wants to go up to Kanyakumari, that is in Tamil Nadu. Okay. What is the minimum number of landlocked and coastal states? When we were solving this question, there came a problem, because according to our assumption, two answers are correct over here, because it is saying minimum number of landlocked and coastal states. So, minimum number of landlocked as well as minimum number of coastal states that he would have to traverse, excluding the origin and destination. You have to exclude the origin of destination and the final one. Excluding the origin and destination. So, he started from Jammu Kashmir, that has not to be included, and finally the destination was Kanyakumari in Tamil Nadu, even that has not to be included. In between, the landlocked states as well as the coastal states are to be counted. If I go by the map, minimum number we have to count. So, he started from Jammu and Kashmir, but Jammu and Kashmir is not to be counted. Next one, can enter Punjab, that is a landlocked state. From Punjab, can come to Rajasthan, that is also a landlocked state. From Rajasthan, can move towards Madhya Pradesh, that is also a landlocked state. If we come towards the coastal one, from Madhya Pradesh, can enter into Maharashtra. From Maharashtra, will enter into Karnataka. And from Karnataka, will enter into Tamil Nadu. But Tamil Nadu is not to be included, because says excluding the origin and destination. So, here comes three states which are landlocked. Punjab, Rajasthan and MP are landlocked, and two states of coastal areas. So, answer can be first one, 3 and 2. But there is a problem. We have to go by another option also. We can work out one more option. Started from Jammu and Kashmir, entered into Punjab, entered into Rajasthan. From here, can change the direction. From Rajasthan, rather than going to MP, can shift towards Gujarat. And Gujarat is a coastal state. From Gujarat, can move towards Maharashtra. And from Maharashtra, can move to Karnataka. And finally to Tamil Nadu. So, even that option is applicable. In this option, there are two of the Jammu and Kashmir and Tamil Nadu is to be excluded. So, there can be two landlocked and three coastal states, and that is also an option. That is why I think this question is a problematic one. It can have more than one correct answer. It can be, question number 76 can be have the answer of number 1, that is 3 landlocked and 2 coastal states, and can also be 2 landlocked and 3 coastal states. Now, we will have to wait for the final answer key, what answer they give. But whatever answer they give, the objection can be raised on this particular question, question number 76. I think both answers, option number 1 as well as option number 4 are correct. Question number 77. Question number 77 says, geological structure, physiography and precipitation regimes influence evolution of drainage patterns. So, from which chapter this question is coming? That is chapter number 3 of class 9th geography, that was drainage, right? India, with its diversity in the above mentioned attributes, showcases a variety of drainage patterns across regions. Match the following drainage patterns found in the region given below. Drainage pattern has been given, region has been given, and we have to interrelate them. Okay, let us start the thing. The first one is centripetal. Centripetal is related with Loktak. A is related with 3. So, let us see which options has A as 3. A is 3, A is 4, so this one becomes out. A is 5, this one also becomes out. A is 3. So 1 and 3 can be the correct answer. Let us move towards second one. Radial. Radial is related with Amarkantak. The river moves in all directions. That is a radial pattern. And if you look towards Amarkantak, which is located at the central highlands, rivers are moving towards all directions. Whether it is Narmada and Tapi, they are moving towards west. If it is Godavari, it is moving towards east. Damodar is moving towards east, and Chambal, Betwa, Ken and Son are moving towards north. So we can say that this one is a radial pattern. So B is 4. B is 4 in both. B is 4 given. So still 1 and 3rd can be the correct answer. Trellis pattern. Trellis pattern, we know it is related with Narmada basin. Trellis pattern is related with the Narmada basin. So C is 1 and this one C is 1. Here comes C 4. So even first option becomes out and only third option we are running in. Let us check the last one also. Dendritic Godavari basin. So for question number 77, the correct answer should be the third option. For question number 77, the correct answer should be the third option, that is A is 3, B is 4, C is 1 and D is 2. If we come towards the next question, question number 78. Colonialism has been so far defined in terms of political, economic and social changes brought in the colonies. Okay. The aspect related to changes bringing in the biodiversity of the colonies has received little attention. One such practice was the introduction of new species of trees by the colonizers in the colonies. Trees by the colonizers in the colonies. So which chapter it is talking about? I think it is chapter number 4 in history, class 9th, Forest, Society and Colonialism. Trees, part of the forest, colonialism they are talking about. So it can be Forest, Society and Colonialism, chapter number 4 in history, class 9th. Now let us go for the question. Identify 2 trees that were introduced by colonizers in India. And it says birch, teak, cher pine and rhododendron. And I think the area which was introduced or the trees which were introduced by the Britishers in India were teak and cher pine. There is a particular box given in Forest, Society and Colonialism. Source based question is there or the box is there. In it, it is written that teak and cher pine were introduced by the British in India. So second and third is the second option. So question number 78, the correct answer is second option, that is teak and cher pine. Coming towards question number 79. Indian farmers adopt diverse farming practices in different environmental conditions in order to maximize the yield. So I think this one is emerging from agriculture chapter of class 10th geography. Indian farmers adopt diverse farming practices in different environmental conditions in order to maximize the yield. Identify the type of farming where the second crop is seeded even before the harvesting of the previous standing crop. Second crop is seeded even before the harvesting of the previous standing crop, and the correct answer is relay cropping. When I was there in the class teaching my students, I used to say it is just related with the relay race. One athlete is coming to the line and before he finishes his race, he passes the baton to the another person and the another person started running. And this race is termed as relay race. So here, where the second crop is seeded even before the harvesting of the previous standing crop. The previous standing crop hasn't been harvested yet and the next crop has been started sowing down. So this one is relay cropping. Question number 79, the answer should be option number 3. Coming towards question number 80. During the southwest monsoon season, India receives the maximum amount of rainfall. So I think this question is emerging from chapter number 4 of class 9 geography, that was climate. However, it varies from place to place. Choose the correct sequence of regions arranged in descending order. We have to go for descending order, maximum towards minimum of rainfall received from southwest monsoon. Southwest monsoon makes the rainfall maximum rainfall in the northeast region? How we can say? Mawsyn Ram, the wettest place in the world, is located in Meghalaya, northeast. That area receives maximum rainfall. And then the southwest monsoon enters into the peninsula from the Western Ghats. Western Ghats receives orographic rainfall, relief rainfall. So the first one I think should be northeastern area and the second one should be Western Ghats. Now let us look towards the option. The very first option says Khasi Hills, Garo Khasi Jaintia, that is in the northeast itself. So Khasi Hills, Western Ghats, Bengal Delta. I will go with the first statement. Right now I will go with the first statement. Second statement says Western Ghats, Khasi Hills. No, it cannot be. The northeastern area receives more rainfall in comparison to the Western Ghats. So first should be Khasi Hills. The third statement says Bengal Delta. No, Bengal Delta in comparison to these areas receives less rainfall. And even the fourth option starts with the Bengal Delta. So we'll not go with these two options, even this one. So the only left option is option number 1, Khasi Hills, Western Ghats and Bengal Delta. So the correct answer of question number 80 is option number 1, that is Khasi Hills, Western Ghats and Bengal Delta.